Fountain of Youth is a new movie on Apple TV, and I have to say I can't really give it a good review. And the reason why is because this film doesn't really have anything new to give. It feels like a mix of a lot of other films. And those other films would be adventure films. And I love adventure films. Adventure films are great. You know, you put these great characters in there and you have them go through all this stuff. Maybe they learn a moral from it, maybe they don't. Maybe it's a good triumphs over evil kind of thing. But in the case of Fountain of Youth, I really felt like everything that I'd seen in it, I had seen before. In fact, I'll get to the end when I get to the end, but the ending is a direct rip-off of an Indiana Jones movie. So much so, it's not even homage. It's like, you just took that and you just did that, didn't you? And it made me angry, honestly, because this film actually started out kind of good. Where essentially, like, I was kind of interested in the main character. And he's played by John Krasinski. I might be mispronouncing his name. You know, Jim from The Office. But here's the thing. He does not look like Jim. He does not sound like Jim. The fact I had to be told this was this actor, I think shows that this guy had more range than I ever thought. And it definitely shows that he's not a one-trick pony. I mean, the guy is a film director. He directed The Quiet Place. He directed that If film that I think I've talked about before, which wasn't exactly the best film, but it wasn't exactly the worst film. But this one, Fountain of Youth, is not really a good film, and I think he probably shouldn't have signed off on that. He probably should have directed another movie instead of this movie. And Guy Ritchie directed this movie. I was actually surprised. The guy that does those British crime thrillers, I'm surprised there wasn't people in this thing that was like, there wasn't that, like in the movie Snatch or something like that. Yeah, they didn't do anything like that. So, boy, geez, I think my voice just gave out with that. Essentially, this film is about John Krasinski's character is kind of like he's a freelance adventurer or something like that. He's always looking for the next treasure, and he thinks he's found the actual location of the Fountain of Youth. And the way he's found it is apparently it's on the back of these very famous paintings by very famous artists. And the last one is by Rembrandt. I'm sure you've at least heard of Rembrandt. And here's the thing, that feels directly stolen from National Treasure. This idea that everything's on the back of this thing. And apparently there's letters on the back of these things that are supposed to spell out something. So, as it turns out, John Krasinski has a sister, played by the great Natalie Portman. And I have to admit, she's doing a pretty good job acting in this too. Whenever I see Natalie Portman these days, I don't think Podme anymore. I'm starting to think like, okay, she's an actress that's kind of come to her own. And I like that. I mean, if you've seen Black Swan, I think she was in that one. She did a pretty good job in other films she's been in as well. But she plays John Krasinski's sister. And apparently they had a archaeologist for a father. And they said the father's name is Harrison, and I went like, oh gosh, what are you trying to do? I mean, dude, that's like, Indiana Jones actor Harrison Ford, clearly. They're trying to homage that, and I was going like, okay, that's kind of clever, but not quite clever enough. So anyway, as it turns out, John Krasinski has to steal this thing that is in one of his sister's museums, because his sister is some sort of curator. And from there, they discover that the back of the painting doesn't have that letter they're looking for. Then they realize that the painting that they have is a forgery, and the real one is apparently at the bottom of the sea. Apparently this yacht, Lucenza, I forget the name of the thing. And there's a really interesting thing where they actually kind of take these, because here's the thing, John Krasinski is backed by this one guy who's apparently suffering from cancer, and he's looking for the Fountain of Youth to essentially cure him. And because he's like a billionaire and stuff like that. So, yeah. So, John Krasinski and Natalie Portman, they have to go to this ship, which is in the middle of the ocean, and they use like these big raft/balloons to like bring up a whole section of the ship so they can explore it and they can find this, safe here. So we're ripping off Titanic is now what's happening. And from there, because here's the thing, John Krasinski and Natalie Portman are being chased by at least 2 groups of bad guys in this film. And we find out that one of them, actually, should I reveal this plot point now? I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna reveal that later. But basically, when they find this Rembrandt painting, they complete the puzzle on the back of these 6 paintings, and apparently all these little letters, they spell out wicked. And apparently there's this Bible known as the Wicked Bible that apparently has a misprint where, you know, where it says thou shalt not commit adultery, apparently it says thou shalt commit adultery. Some sort of weird misprint or something like that. These Wicked Bibles are very rare. I have no idea if this is a real historical thing. Something tells me it kind of is. I feel like a lot of this is trying to be basically based in something historical, but they're making up some things. And here's the thing. It's actually, remember I said Natalie Portman is in this? Well, apparently she's got a kid, and Natalie Portman's husband, they're going through separation, so the kid goes along with him for the ride, and then it feels like The Mummy Returns. This is the kid from The Mummy Returns, if you de-aged him 20 years or something like that. I don't know, but I guess he'd be older now. Anyway, so this kid goes along for the ride, and apparently this kid is a musical prodigy, and he actually figures out the Wicked Bible has this thing on the side that are music notes, and these music notes correspond to these things, and from there they're able to find the location of the Fountain of Youth, and it's underneath the pyramids. Yeah, they have to go to Egypt. And here's the thing that I just think is weird in this movie. They go underneath the pyramids because they know that they've done some like high resolution scans of some frequency, or I don't know. There's some science to this, maybe. And I've heard about this where they've done scans of the pyramids and they found out there's all these chambers below there. And I'm kind of going like, well, just dig and get there, okay? And in this case, these characters dig and get there, and they do it willy-nilly. They find a secret passage that the kid somehow manages to open because he's good at music. I'm serious, that's what happens. Now, throughout this whole thing, okay, I better get to this. When they get to this thing, they actually find the Fountain of Youth. And we find out that one of the bad guys that is chasing John Krasinski's character is essentially somebody who's sort of a secret guardian to the Fountain of Youth, is what is happening there. That's kind of her deal. We actually see them in conversation with somebody in some of their place, and this guy's played by Stanley Tucci, who I think only has like maybe one scene in this film, really. He just kind of shows up. Anyway, so, and then the other party is actually, there's some bad guys chasing after John Krasinski, because apparently one of the paintings he stole was by Asian mob boss or something like that. So yeah, he's got those people chasing after him, and then there's also this detective guy who's chasing after him, and they all come together at the pyramids of Giza and they all fight each other, and it just doesn't really work out very well. Now, it's a little early, but I'm going to get to a spoiler here. When they find the Fountain of Youth, everything after that is a ripoff of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. And I hate the fact that this happened this way. And to the point where the main bad guy, who turns out to be, remember that benefactor I was talking about, the billionaire? Apparently he wasn't even dying of cancer. No, he absolutely wasn't. I don't know why they decided to add that. I actually think it would be more valuable if he was dying. But no, he's basically all like, I just want to be immortal and just oh, come on. Anyway, so at one point in time, he just shoots John Krasinski because he goes like, okay, now drink from the Fountain of Youth and I'll see if it restores you. And I'm going like, dude, the bad guy in The Last Crusade did the same thing with Sean Connery. Come on. I've seen this movie. I know you have seen this movie because you're copying it. And then here's the thing. At the end, the bad guy actually drinks of the Fountain of Youth, and guess what happens to him? If you said he rots away just like the guy at the end of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, you'd be totally 100% right. And that utterly happens, and then the whole place starts to fall down, and I went like, oh, come on. This is just, no. You don't get to do this. And here's the thing, though. This film has one silver lining in it. There's a great scene where Natalie Portman pulls John Krasinski out of the pyramids that they're in, and he said, was it everything you ever wanted? And John Krasinski's line is, no, but it was everything. You shouldn't drink that unless you're prepared for that. And I thought, wow, that's a great line. Oh my gosh, this film actually could have made this pretty good. If they had put that line in Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade, it would have been a better movie. But it was already a great movie, so you didn't need that. Anyway, there might be a sequel to this, because I think they briefly hinted at the end that the kid has an idea what they can do next. I don't want to see a sequel to this. Just leave it alone.